Hey y'all, I'm Jan. Now Donna, this video is for you. We're going to make a buttery, flaky pie crust. You need a cup and a quarter of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt. Now the tablespoon of sugar, remember that's optional. I think I'm going to make an apple pie with this, so I'm definitely going to use the sugar. I hope I said tablespoon of sugar just then. Okay. First, oops, forgot to spit it. Now I've got, this will take a half cup of butter, so that's a whole stick of butter. I've already chopped mine up and I have it in the refrigerator. Also in the refrigerator, I have my 5 tablespoons of ice water. Yeah, a little bit more here. Quarter cup. And now the whole cup. And the reason I'm using 1 1/4 cups is to ensure that I can get an 11-inch pie crust. Especially with a butter pie crust, you want to make sure you got extra, because even really after you get used to it, sometimes it's just so easy that they tear. I just always make sure I have extra crust to fix problems, because if it can tear, I'm going to tear it. And 1 cup. Now we're going to set this extra aside because we're going to use it. Or we're going to use some of it. Okay. Tablespoon of sugar. Keep your tablespoon. You need that for your water. Half teaspoon of salt. Going to whisk this in real well. It'll mix your sugar and salt in, plus it will get out any lumps that might be in your flour. Okay, here we go. One stick of butter. I chopped it in half, I chopped it in half again, and then just chopped it into little squares. Very, very cold, that's important. Now, because it's already, heat index is about 95 here already at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to use a glove. Now, if you have a stand mixer, I highly recommend you use it for this. It will take you 30 seconds. I do not have one, and I'm used to doing this by hand anyway. So, and if you don't, and you're having to do it like I am, you can, if you have a pastry cutter, you can use that. You can use 2 forks and blend it into your flour that way. And there we go. Now, this butter is really cold, so it's really hard. And as I pick the pieces up in the flour, I'm just kind of squeezing them into smaller pieces. I hope that's showing up. Alright, see that big chunk is covered in flour? Squeeze it, make it smaller. Squeeze it again, make it a little bit smaller. And what this does is this ensures you have flaky crust. The little, all the little pieces of butter will create little air pockets, which is where your flakes are. Now I'm sitting here doing this kind of slow, but you really want to move kind of fast. You don't want your butter to melt. You want it to basically look like wet sand once you get it all mixed in. Another way to do it, do it like this with one fork. You can get a second fork. The second fork will make it go faster, but I'm doing this a little slower just to show you. You want to make sure all these big chunks are made into small little, like pea-sized or smaller, BB size. That'd probably be a better way to describe the size you want it to be. That big chunk. Squeeze a piece off. Squeeze another piece off. Squeeze another piece off. Till it's all mushed in. So like I said, if you have a stand mixer, it takes seconds, truly. And that's what you want it to look like. Wet sand. I hope you can see that. All the flour is at least coated with a little bit of butter. Okay, now I'm going to grab our water. Get this glove off. Ice water. So again, we're going to start with 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. Now, as you can see, I'm only going to need 3 tablespoons because it is very, very humid in here. In fact, I feel like this is actually kind of wet, but that's all right. Okay, now I'm gonna grab some saran wrap. Kind of a long piece again. Oh, I'm getting flour on the saran wrap. Okay. There it goes back so y'all can see this. Now, I'm going to dump this out. Yep, see my butter's melted. That is not good, but that's all right. The refrigerator will fix it. So we're going to pull this up this way, pull it up this way, pull this end up, this side up, and twist. Now you want to press this out into kind of a round circle. Just like that. Immediately back in the fridge for at least 30 minutes up to an hour. And then we'll roll it out. Okay. Let's roll this sucker out. Now you can use saran wrap. You can use just your counter and some flour. The reason I'm not going to do it in this video because 1, it's hot in here. 2, The more flour you add, the drier your crust is going to get. And once it starts getting dry, it's going to start just shredding it, tearing into pieces. So, parchment paper, put it right in the middle. Push this up so that you guys can see. Another piece right on top. Now it's a little hard. I left it in the refrigerator a little too long. So I'm just going to press it down a little. And I'm going to turn it. Press it out a little that way. Remember, from the middle out. Turn it again. Press it out. Middle back. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but as you can see right there in that corner, it's not completely. Y'all, my phone keeps cutting off. I think when I picked it up, I accidentally turned it off. Okay. So you just keep rolling. You keep watching. If it doesn't look round, like if it looks like it's, blunt right here in this corner, just roll it out. Just make sure you start from the middle, because you want to try to keep this thing the same thickness everywhere. And that's pretty important. You don't want to have little paper thin ends in a very thick middle. But now, normally I would not use one of these right here. But this pie that I'm making, I'm going to be giving away. And this is the only metal one I have. Obviously, this is a deep dish. It's 2 inches thick. So, we need to see if I have enough room. And I do not. So, it's fine. We're just going to roll some more. But the reason I prefer this so much is because it keeps your hands off of it, which keeps that butter from melting. Because that butter melts pretty fast. Much faster than you might think, especially if your hands are on it. Alright, now then. We should be there. Yes, we are. Now, I know I've got some ends over here sticking out, and that's alright. So here's what we're going to do. Be really careful when you start to tear this off. It's going to be even more slippery with butter than it is with shortening. There we go. And you can see I have torn some pieces off over here. That's all right. I'm going to sit these over here to the side because I can guarantee you I'm going to have to use them. A little piece, we'll stick it right there. If your butter starts melting, if you can, like if you see a shiny sheen on this, stick it in the fridge. Just stick it in there for 5 minutes and let that butter firm back up, because this will be a nightmare trying to get it into your pie crust if your butter is melting and this is so soft that if you just move one thing, it's going to tear. Put your hand underneath. Put your pie crust. Turn it over. And try to, eyeball that you actually have it in the middle. And I think we do. Now very gently. Just remember what I said. When it's a butter crust, this is not going to come off nearly as easily. Now, if it's really cold in your house, you'll be fine. But it's not cold in here by any stretch. So, I'll be very careful what I'm doing. Come on, little buddy. Come on, almost there. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now, remember what I showed you with the other pie crust. You want to kind of pick this up and then just kind of drop it down. You want to Lift this to make sure it falls down into your pie plate without you pulling on it. If you pull, it's going to tear immediately. But if you just kind of pick it up and then sit it back down, it'll fall right on down in there like it's supposed to. I don't know if you just saw how that fell down for me. Just lift it up and watch it fall down. It just falls down into the pie, whatever pie plate you want to use, it's fine. I see it's starting to get a little bit shiny. That's all right, we'll work fast. Okay. So when I do this, I take my corner here and I just turn it under. If I can. See, like right here, I don't have enough to turn under. That's all right. We're just going to take one of those little pieces and stick it on there. Turn it backwards. Just tuck it. You're basically tucking it. Tuck it. Tuck it. Now you see, I got some more problems right here. That's all right. We got extra crust. Now, no one will be the wiser once this thing is baked. You won't be able to tell anything. Same problem here. Can't really tuck. That's all right. We'll tuck this. Now you see how we got this. So we got this little extra right here. We're going to use it. We're going to go back right here. We'll put that there. We'll put this piece right here. We got a little bit more extra. We're going to put that right there. Now you see why it's really important to make your pie crust. I say 2 inches bigger. Some people will say just an inch. I'm a 2-inch girl. No matter what. Because there's no if I mess it up, I'm going to mess it up. I just am. Alright, see how I got that extra? I'll pull it off and I'll use it somewhere over here. Turn, tuck it backwards. Turn, tuck it backwards. Turn and tuck, turn and tuck. It don't have to be beautiful. Now then, you can see how it's just about on the edge everywhere, but I got a big gap right there. It's all right. We're going to take these extra pieces I pulled off, and we're going to stick them right there. Got another little piece right here. Going to stick it right there. Because once it cooks, it's going to cook into one piece. You'll never know that I sat here and jacked this all up and had to piece it together. Sorry, I keep pulling away from the... I get so into it, I forget I'm recording. Another piece right there. But if you can avoid touching any part of that right there, do it. I don't care so much about this edge getting messed up, but you can easily mess this bit up. Stick that right there. And there you go. Now, I didn't make this wide enough to put a pretty, you know, one of them stand-up deals on there, but I can fork it down, and that's what I'm going to do. So Donna, I hope this helps you. Just remember, if you mess up your first butter crust, I guarantee you I messed up the first 5. If you make one with shortening or Crisco first, and then you go back and make one with butter, it will make perfect sense to you. The difference. That's why a lot of people, they won't even fool with a butter crust. It's just so much easier to make one with Crisco or even vegetable oil. But I tell you, none of them are going to taste as good as this one. Make sure that looks all pretty. Yeah, blend that in. And I just kind of press right here just to make sure it's completely up against the wall of the pie plate. Now, perfect. Now, if you're going to make it like a fruit pie, you can just go ahead and put whatever in here and put it on in the oven. If you're going to make like some sort of custard pie, like a chocolate cream pie or anything like that that's a cold pie, then you'll need to pre-bake this crust. Now I'll probably make a video about this before the holidays, but if you need it sooner, let me know and I'll go ahead and make that, because you're going to have to take your fork, and it's called docking. You want to dock the whole bottom, then you're going to put it in the oven and bake it for about 20 minutes, but you're going to need to sit something in here to keep your crust from rising. Because it's a butter crust, it will absolutely rise up, and that would be disastrous. So I hope this was what you were needing to see, and I truly appreciate you watching. Thank y'all very much. I'll see you soon.